Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Cool Dad podcast. Today's episode 40, so that's kind of cool. Almost up to that 50th episode benchmark there. So we'll see what I do after episode 50 and take it one day at a time. It's also May 28th, in case you kind of lost track of the days like I do on a regular basis. So there you go. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on my experience at Home Depot. So I told you guys that, I wasn't sure big box stores were dropping the ball on this sort of thing as they sort of transitioned into, being allowed to operate and have people in the store again. So I got kind of fed up with my order. It was over a week overdue. Well, not overdue, at least a week sort of time frame. In regards to when I ordered it and when I really needed it. I mean, it was a bunch of gardening equipment too, and materials. So I just went there. I called them a couple times, kind of fed up with how slow the service was in general, and seeing it in person made it even worse, to be perfectly honest. So my hypothesis was really, I think that people got used to doing the curbside pickup. It's nice and convenient, especially if you're not like let's talk about Home Depot in general here. If you're not like a regular there, like myself, like I go there maybe once a month, if that. But I don't always know where everything is, and it's a pain in the ass to. It's such a big store. Like, you're going from one end to the other, and like you forget one thing, you gotta go all the way back, and it's so hard to find someone to help you most of the time to tell you where to go. Either way, I went there. I grabbed a big, the biggest cart I could get, or pallet, or whatever, and went around the store grabbing everything, and then I forgot one little thing. So I put my cart right by the service desk and ran to go grab the other item at the other side of the store, of course, and I didn't want to bring my giant cart full of crap on it all the way over there, so I left it there. And then when I came back, someone had taken my cart and was putting everything away. Luckily I found that person and got everything back, but that was kind of a pain. Then I finally got to the person at the front desk, and I'm not kidding, it took over a half an hour to figure out how to pick up the items that I had purchased online and already paid for, and register those into the system to say I picked them up. Outside of a few items that one of them was still in transit, and two of them I just couldn't be bothered to find at the time, so I was waiting for them to just kind of let me know when I could pick those up. It took like 3 different associates. It was like, it was just in such disarray. Run by people that could barely use a computer. It was like Boomer Central over there. It was just awful. So, I'm really hoping, and I've said this more than once, these big companies need to figure out what people want. They're just, like, you can't let everything be cannibalized by something like Amazon, for example. They're just, you have to see what your biggest competitors are doing and be able to build a system that is, at least in some way, shape, or form, somewhat similar. Canadian Tire, that's a big one in Canada. I would prefer to shop there if I could, but if you're going to make it difficult, you're not going to update your website, you're not going to spend money on proper infrastructure in that regard, I'm going to take my business elsewhere. I mean, as much as I want to help the local economy and things like that, that's, something I think about a lot. I can only do so much if you're going to make it that much more painful. So it is what it is. In some cases, you don't even have an online system or something that you could even transact with online. So, sometimes you gotta do things over the phone, and, from time to time that can be a quick process, but it's still quite archaic to go that route. Also, you don't have full visibility into what you're purchasing when you're just giving someone a credit card and taking their word for it without any sort of like proper paper trail. That happened to my wife and I the other day on the purchase of a new dishwasher. Luckily, the store was really good at refunding what we needed, but the fact that we had to wait for our credit card statement to come in and see that we overpaid for something is kind of annoying. But whatever. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. Now I'm going to go over some kind of doom and gloom news for a bit, and then I'll get into things that are more chipper overall. But yeah, we saw as of yesterday over 100,000 deaths in the United States. Yeah, it's kind of shitty. My understanding is the projection for 100,000 was looking at like August, so well ahead of the curve, or not in a good way, but yeah. Happened earlier than we had thought it would, and if things repeat like they have in previous pandemics, so looking at like the Spanish influenza, for example, the second wave was actually a lot deadlier. So, yeah, we need to prepare for that sort of thing. I don't know what that's going to look like come fall. But hopefully people learn. I mean, you see people not wearing masks still, or having like anti-mask protests, and I'm gonna wear a mask. I don't really give a shit what you do, but just know that your logic is not very sound. You should probably think a little bit more about that, but the problem is you're not thinking, and whatever. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I mean, overall, I mean, there's so much shit going on in the United States right now. You saw that guy kind of been pinned down by the cop and had a knee against his neck for like 20 minutes. He ended up dying that evening, and there's a lot of protests going on in, I believe, Minnesota. I don't know. I assume Minneapolis. And yeah, they're getting like tear gassed and rubber bullets and things like that. Meanwhile, you had all these nutbags armed to the teeth, these white dudes right up in the faces of all the police. Not a single like anything. But I would also argue, and listen, I'm not taking anyone their side on this, but it depends. Like, if you had a bunch of people armed to the teeth in your face and you started shooting off like tear gas and things like that, do you really want to know what's going to happen at that point? Probably not. It's a shame that police and are able to sort of take advantage of the situation. Oh, they don't have, it's not as big a threat. Well, we can be assholes and tear gas people, hit them with rubber bullets, and they're not going to really do much other than post it online. It'll be a travesty. Then the president will say, it's okay. So that's the ridiculousness that is the United States right now. Along with a lot more, but whatever. I don't want to get into that. I'm not even an American citizen. I don't even live in these states. I just see this shit online, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, you scratch your head, and I don't know. Outside of that, then, you got Trump trying to put down the United States Postal Service and trying to put away the idea of doing mail-in ballots, calling it, saying it opens you up for cheating and fraud and all this garbage, and is like so far from the truth. But again, not going to get too far into that sort of stuff. There's people that know a hell of a lot more than I do that are posting about it. I encourage you to look at their stuff as opposed to take my word for it. But this is just my opinion. Anyways, let's get away from the doom and gloom stuff. I just purchased a new set of frisbee golf or disc golf sets or whatever. I got a pack of 3. I'm waiting to pick up at a specialty store. Go play some frisbee golf, or some frolf as it's known. Apparently it's, you just jump on a course. It's free. It sounds like fun to me. I mean, at least frisbee golf, I'll get less frustrated than regular golf, where I just consistently suck at it because I don't play enough. If I'm going to play once a year, I'm never going to get better at anything. So, something to consider. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that, and kind of getting out and getting some fresh air and all that fun stuff. And on that note, the crazy hot streak we've had in Southern Ontario seems like it's dissipated, which is fantastic. I'm wearing pants again. So that's a big one for me. I couldn't even work in my my loft because I don't have any I don't have any ventilation in it, so I don't get any AC or anything like that. It was like I'd walk up here and be like a thick cloud of smog or something. I don't know. It was horrible. So I had to work downstairs in the afternoons because I just couldn't handle it. But yeah. Also, there's an issue. I have maybe a lot of you probably have these Nest thermostats. I'm gonna post about this actually, but we're having an issue with it where the wiring doesn't coincide with my furnace properly, even though they say it does, and I have to order a piece, our wiring kit, to make this happen, because essentially what's happening is it's sort of cutting out and short cycling, so it's going off and on all day long, and it's not staying for extended periods. So during a crazy I don't know, what do you call it, a streak of being super hot out, it wasn't very good, because it was like 26 degrees in my house, even though I had the AC running. So yeah, I'm gonna post about that just because it seems to be a common problem. I'd love to, show everyone the solution if they're dealing with something similar. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. But I ordered a piece. It'll come on Sunday apparently, and I'll fix that up and show you how that works. But yeah. In other news, I've pointed this out a few times, sports coming back and things of that nature. All these leagues keep talking about these new formattings and things they're going to do, and playoffs and resuming seasons and all that sort of stuff. That's all well and good. You can agree on whatever the hell you want, but in reality, nothing happens until the governments allow for it. So don't get too excited yet, as much as I'd love to see some sports going on. Yeah, even the proposed NHL bracket, they got the Leafs playing the Blue Jackets, which I'm pretty happy about. I think we could beat the Blue Jackets, no problem. But the Leafs have always proven to be an up and down team, so we'll see. I got big hopes. Wouldn't that be funny if the Leafs won the Stanley Cup somehow and the leagues all started and we can't even do a parade? That would be yeah, that would be ironic, wouldn't it? In other news, looks like in entertainment news actually, Henry Cavill whatever you want to say it. He actually got recasted as Superman, so that's cool. I think he fits the role perfectly, and he's going to be in the role for a couple more movies and things like that. So I'm excited to see how it goes, and yeah, I enjoyed the Superman movies to a certain extent. Like, it wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it a hell of a lot better than Justice League. So I don't know. I thought the Justice League was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It was just kind of laughable. It was kind of sad too. But yeah, it made absolutely no sense to me. I was not a fan of it. They got Zack Snyder's sort of extended, or his editor's cut version coming out, if it's not out already. That's supposed to be a hell of a lot better, but I'm still doubting that, because the actual movie was so bad that I don't understand how they can possibly make it much better. But they just the DC universe, they've rushed it so much just to kind of keep up with what Marvel was doing. But Marvel was like a decade ahead of them, and placed all these very meticulous storylines across along the way, probably well over a decade actually. When you consider, I guess the first one I think was Iron Man, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think I'm right there. Anyway. A lot went into it, and you can't just half-ass it and put something together. But at the same time, what I like about the DC universe is you don't have to build every origin story and put it together in this grand team array here. I think the good thing about DC is you could just have a storyline. Just assume that people know what the hell's going on. If you think people don't know about Batman and Superman and the Flash, Wonder Woman, come on. Aquaman too, I guess. But yeah, I think they make they're trying to do things the same way as their competitors, and I don't think it's needed. Some of the animated movies are fantastic. I think they're way better than anything that Marvel has really released in the animated sector. And yeah, don't just go with a storyline that sounds cool. Maybe make something up that's original. But yeah, I mean, and then they're one-offs. I mean, when the new Batman movie comes out, I'm pretty stoked for that. But that's a ways away still, so we've got time. Apparently, Johnny Depp is considered as being casted for Joker in the future. Whenever they I don't even know if they'd have Joker in the Batman. I don't really know, but anyway, yet to be seen. I think he'd be a good choice. He's kind of nutty, so yeah, we'll see. Last thing I want to chat about, and it's gaming related, and if you're not into games, well, whatever. You don't have to listen to me, but I'm gonna finally play Chrono Trigger. It's apparently one of the best RPGs ever created, and it's from the 90s. So it was released on the Super Nintendo, so I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm gonna buy it on Steam. I didn't even know they had it on Steam. It was released in 2018 as sort of like a revamp of the original with a bit more added content. So I'm pretty excited, and hopefully my plan is to start this weekend. And yeah, again, I'm super excited. There's really no reason I shouldn't have played it up until now. I mean, I wasn't into RPGs as a kid. I think the first RPG I ever played was actually Pokemon Yellow. Well, I mean, I played kind of Red and Blue a little bit, borrowing my friends, but I never really owned it or anything. But Pokemon Yellow would have definitely been my first RPG, and ever since I've been pretty hooked. So excited for that. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll give you my opinion. It's like, again, it's like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 on like everyone's radar. There's very few people that have ever given it a low rating. So I'm super excited, and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, have a great day. I may have an episode tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to have some content over the weekend if I don't. So take care. Remember to subscribe and like, and yeah, do what the hell you want.